Hey, what's going on, everyone? Um, Once again, welcome to Let's Talk About It. I'm your host, Reverend Jay, and today we will be talking about how to maximize your own credit. Today, I have my guest, one of my friends, business associate, Dana.
Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you.
So, but before we get her a chance to really introduce herself, let me remind you, once again, this time of the year to vote, and it's very crucial that you get out and vote. There's some very serious matters on the ballot, and guess what? I think somebody said that voting is not the only solution, but it's one solution that can help to make the changes that you want to see. So go out and vote. Also, we have some mugs. Let's talk about the mugs. And of course, all I guess will get a mug for Christmas. So Dana, you'll get one of these mugs. Let's talk about it. Thank you for coming on our show. But again, if you want the mug, you can go to my site there. Go in the description box. Go to Reverend J recommendations. Click on the link, and you'll be able to actually purchase yourself a Let's Talk About It mug. Also, we have shirts too. Just trying to make it, match and coordinate. I think somebody said coordinate. So now let's move on. Then if you can just give the audience information about yourself, like how you got started and what you're doing, your name, your company.
Sure. So my name's Dana. My husband and I own Square One Credit Management. I've got a shirt too. I have to get savvy like Josh and also have a mug handy as well. But we've been in business for 14 years. My husband actually founded the company originally. He was working as a mortgage broker in the real estate industry, and the market started to really take a turn in 2006, 2007, 2008. And he found at that time he was coming across a lot of individuals who wanted to purchase a home or who wanted to refinance their house, but their credit score was getting in the way. And he didn't have an option to give to those individuals, and being in the service business and wanting to help individuals be able to ultimately get into their dream home or refinance into a lower payment, that was very frustrating for him, that there wasn't an outlet for individuals. So instead of telling them not yet, or I can't help you today, but let me find someone to help you, that was discouraging. So market took a bad turn, 06, 07, 08. At that time, my husband decided, I'm going to create this organization. Credit repair has a pretty bad reputation in the industry. There's a lot of companies out there that don't do it the right way and unfortunately aren't very truthful in how they will go about doing it. And he founded this organization with the premise of we will be a financial institution focused on credit restoration and helping individuals getting back on track. Not only for the purchase of a home, although that's our primary business, but for the purchase of anything, an automobile, a personal loan, or someone that's maybe had medical distress or financial hardship or is going through a divorce. So that's how we got started.
Oh, great. That's awesome. Now, myself and Dana is a part of this. This is how we know each other. We're part of this group called this networking group called Latif. We have over about 97 business owners in the group, and we meet about every Thursday. So each person get an opportunity to get about 6 minutes to talk about their business and how we can refer them to our network. So Dana got up and Cora shared about her business, and after I heard her presentation, I said, "No, what, Dana, I need to have you come on my show because I believe that the information you have can help a lot of people." Now, let's talk about some credit. Now, growing up, I always heard about to not have bad credit or, try to make sure you have some. The one ever told me about having credit or how important credit is. So if you can, explain to us the value of credit, because I know this one, that in order to get ahead in life, you may need some credit to borrow money in order to invest it to make more money. So tell me, let's talk about really how important credit is.
Absolutely. So credit's very important. And Josh, to your point exactly, it's not something that's taught in high school. It's not something that's taught in college and at any level of college, whether you're in a community college or you attend an Ivy League school. Credit is not a topic that is taught. It's something that you either learn organically from your parents who are mentoring you on it, or you may learn individually by going through some hardship, right? So credit's very important. You need credit to ultimately purchase a car. You need credit for a mortgage. And in the state of New Jersey, believe it or not, your car insurance is determined by your credit score.
Wow.
So there's a lot of different metrics of why credit is important. Now, what people unfortunately don't talk about is one out of every 3 Americans have a subprime credit score. And that's nothing to be embarrassed about. Some people are uneducated about it. Some people don't understand how to maximize their credit score. And others, unfortunately, just may have made a mistake that they don't know how to fix it. So anything that's actually less than a 669 credit score is considered subprime. That means you're being penalized on excessive interest rates per month on your mortgage, your automobile, a personal loan, a credit card, potentially your car insurance, and anything ultimately that you try to finance.
So in other words, the lower your credit score is, the more you pay.
Exactly.
Wow.
So anything considered 669 or under is basically headed in that F-rated scoring system. Anything above that 670 is good, but the range is really 670 to 850. 850 is your A+ borrower. 670 is kind of that entry point into good credit.
So is it easy to get up to the 800? I know, because my goal is just to have 700.
Yes. So believe it or not, it is, but there's a lot of common myths that sit around credit, right? So credit is an algorithm, and credit is controlled. Your credit score is controlled not based on how much money you make.
Oh,
that's not a factor. So income is never calculated. It's an algorithm that's calculated by 3 different credit bureaus, TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax, that solely looks at your payment history, the amount of money you owe relative to the total amount you borrowed, your mix of credit, and your new credit. So 35% of your score is just, do you pay your bills on time?
Wow, okay.
Do you pay $20 a month on time, or do you pay $20,000 a month on time? One missed payment, whether it's $20 or $20,000, is the same penalty and decrease in score. So that's 35% of how a score is calculated. Another 30% is just on the amount you owe relative to the amount that you've been lent, right? So let's say you get a credit card for $1,000. You never want your balance to be more than 30% of the limit. Anything more than 30% of the limit, the creditors look at you as a risk, right?
So let's explain to the audience what you mean balance. So you're saying, when you talk about balance, you talk about the money you're using. Like, for example, if you have a credit limit of $8,000, you don't want to be spending up $7,000.
No. Even if you pay it off monthly, because the second you pass this threshold of 80 to 85% utilization, they actually consider the card maxed out and you lose points.
Oh, wow.
So a common misnomer is some people will say, well, I have credit cards, but I don't use them, so my score should be perfect. False, because you have no credit history. So you don't have anything for them to judge you on.
So you need some type of credit history. Now, let me tell you a quick story. When I was younger, I just got out of the military. Before I was in the military, I tried to get some credit cards. They wouldn't give them to me. Now, I had a job. had a job, had steady income. They wouldn't give them to me. But when I got out the military, and one day I needed a credit card because I think I was driving and I got a flat tire and I had to get a whole tire repair. Something happened, and I needed to get a credit card because I didn't have the money on me. And I was actually able to get one. Any explanation of?
Yes. So it all depends. You may have had something fluctuate in your scores at that time.
Okay.
Also, the requirements change based on the market at times.
Okay.
So sometimes, as a lot of you probably saw in 2020, 2021, and even the earlier part of this year, banks had a lot of money to lend.
Okay.
Right, wrong, or indifferent. So they wanted to lend regardless. It wasn't tightening. But in markets where perhaps maybe there's a lot of default or there's, money is tight and lending is tight, you may have been restricted. So the amount of lending and the capability to get a credit card or a mortgage or a car, it does fluctuate at times based on market conditions. But to your question, for anybody that's looking to just build and establish credit, the best way to actually do that is with secured cards that are prepaid, which means you put the money on your card, you use it, you establish history, but you're not overextending yourself on expenses that you might not be able to afford or pay off or max the card out.
Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, wow. Yeah. I some years ago, I used to go like, oh my gosh, will I get this approved? Now I have a question. These department stores, I hate it. I hate them because every time you go in there and buy something, they say, hey, you want to get our department our credit card so you can buy some clothes. What's your thoughts about that?
So with that, you have to be very careful because there's a few reasons. One is you should pay attention to what the interest rate is. So if you want to take advantage of a discount and you want to open that card to establish payment history, and ultimately you could pay that balance off, it's great for your credit. But you want to understand the total interest rate because those tend to be high. And if you're carrying balances on that, it probably isn't worth it in the long run. So you do want to be cautious when you're opening those cards to know, are you offering me, like Lowe's or some furniture stores, they offer you excellent interest-free payment plans for a certain amount of time. So that's excellent for an individual because you can make a purchase, pay it off over time, not pay interest, and build credit. But let's say I go to Kohl's, like you said, and I'm getting my Kohl's cash, but it's a credit card that has a 26% interest rate. It's probably not in your best favor. So it's something, and again, God, looking at Kohl's, bless them, they want you to open the card. They're not going to advertise the interest rate. They're just going to advertise you're going to get 20% off, but you're paying that back in interest anyway. Yeah, so instead of paying like $10 for some clothes, you probably spend up $30 not knowing. Exactly. You spent more than your discount in the Kohl's cash you got. Yeah. So I have now. I'm not sure if you're aware, but Robert Kiyosaki says there's he says good debt and bad debt. Is there anything like that in the credit world, like good credit, bad credit? Yes. So things that are great to build credit history, a mortgage, that's okay, good debt, right? An automobile loan, that's also good debt. It's balanced. Bad debt becomes high utilization, maxing out credit cards, overextending yourself, then getting in a situation where you may obtain a personal loan at a very high interest rate to pay off that debt. So that's the bad credit becomes when you get yourself in a situation where you're spending more money than you really, unfortunately, can afford. Okay. And if you're doing that knowingly. Now, that's one situation. There could be another situation where you're overextending yourself because of hardship. Maybe you ran into a medical challenge. Maybe you ran into a business challenge that you needed to leverage yourself personally for. Maybe you're going through a divorce. So there's all different ways that your credit can unfortunately take a turn, but bad credit that you do, do to yourself is really that first part.
Yeah, I know, because recently, in order for me to grow my business, I had to actually get loans. Because again, the way it works is I have customers, and all my customers don't pay me immediately, and then but again, my drivers don't want to wait to get paid. Because of Uber and DoorDash, who have a huge bank account and probably a huge credit line, they can get paid next day. And probably have a balance of $10,000 with customers and not worry about it. I can't do that. So I had to actually get loans in order to actually, pay my drivers out and still maintain, business expenses, all other stuff. So is that a good thought or a good way to use credit?
It is, because you're investing in yourself, right? So
yeah.
It's a period in time where your scores may have taken a slight dip because of the amount of money you were borrowing. But if you're paying it back and on time, and you're showing good history, of course, right? You're just investing in yourself at that time. And that's when a lot of individuals choose to leverage credit. Now, you wouldn't necessarily personally want to do that if at the same time you were trying to obtain a mortgage, because maybe it took your scores theoretically from a 720 to a 670, and that puts you in a whole other interest rate bracket that could cost you more money than you want. But investing in yourself, and leveraging credit to do that, that's good credit.
Yeah, well, again, I do have before I got the credit or the loans, I looked at my finances and, the cash flow coming in. We do have the money to pay back. That's not an issue. I just want to I need to make sure with business wise that my driver get paid to keep them motivated.
Absolutely. And one of the other things we do for business owners, I should mention too, is we help establish business credit. So one of the hardest things for entrepreneurs like yourself and business owners to do is to establish business credit, to be able to get business credit loans. And the way to do that is exactly what you just did. You may have to leverage yourself personally while you build your business credit, because your business credit could take anywhere from 6 to 12 months to build. And it's not as easy as your personal credit. Your personal credit, the trade line goes on right away and you start building the history. In the business credit, you typically have to utilize a professional to make sure those trade lines are added.
Oh, we definitely need to talk after this then. But again, I'm from my understanding, again, you have to do something different in order to start establishing business credit, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, I just been I just needed money now, so I had to get loans. I had no time to worry about it. That's awesome. So I have a question. So when should a person call you?
Sorry, repeat that one more time.
When should a person call you? A person call your company when it comes to credit? Because you're part of credit restoration, correct?
Yes. So we do credit restoration, debt settlement services, and credit investigation and mediation. So there's really, I think there's 3 different types of individuals that call us. The first is somebody that just needs to establish credit in general. They don't know how to do it. They don't have credit history, and they might not even have a score. So that's one type of program, that's credit building.
Okay.
The other individual is the person that comes to us. They have a subprime credit score, so 660 and less. They've probably had poor credit for a few years. They have several late payments. They have several accounts in collection or charge off with unpaid balances, and they need to clean up their credit and utilize a service like ours to either ultimately be able to purchase a home or an automobile in the near future. And those people are typically looking for a program that is fast. So our fastest program with guaranteed results, typically of 80 points per bureau,
Wow.
is 90 days.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes. And then the last person, they may have gone through a lot of hardship and they may have a lot of debt that they owe that's in collection or charge off. And that person wants to fix their credit, but they may need time. And they may need also our financial advisory to coach them through how to get out of that situation, but in longer than 90 days. So maybe 6 months or 12 months. And sometimes that's first time home buyers. Sometimes it's people that may have a lot of medical debt that unfortunately went through an illness.
Yeah.
And they just may need time.
Oh, okay. Now, do you get younger people calling you or just pretty much older people,
So it's very interesting. Credit does not discriminate in terms of age. So it runs the gamut for us. Anyone that is, over the age of 18, 19, all the way up to, we have clients that are in their 70s or 80s.
Oh, wow.
And the other interesting thing is, credit can happen to people that don't have a lot of money to pay their bills, but we also work with multimillionaires who maybe had a mistake managing their money, or forgot to pay a bill on time, or didn't set up an auto pay. So we work with all different ages, all different types of wealth, and all different types of occupations.
Oh, pretty cool. Now let's talk about, I know somebody said you work with them, help them to clean up their credit. For a person who I have a long history of credit and have some good credit decisions and some bad ones. So I guess you would go in, look at the person's credit and see what can be removed, because I think we talked earlier and you said that some things don't automatically come off your credit.
Correct. So one of the most important things about our company is we qualify candidates. So we take a look at your credit. It's a free consultation, and we ensure that we can approve you for a program with guaranteed results. So if we find late payments, collections and charge-offs on the report, we take a look at everything and run an algorithm that tells us how many points increase we think we could get in 90 days. And then we talk to the client about what success rate we think we'll have on removing certain late payments. And then we talk to the client about basically the bad debt that they owe that's in collection or charge off, and ensure the client understands that if we investigate this debt and it comes back verified, yes, with our services, we will negotiate the debt down and get you a savings of cents on the dollar and have the collection or charge off updated or removed, but you are responsible financially for that balance. and ensuring the client understands that. We can't wave a magic wand and make any past due debt disappear. It's a matter of investigating it, resolving it, negotiating it down, and mediating it. And that's why ultimately a lot of people hire us, because people don't have 30 to 40 hours to dedicate to this, and they're not the expert, right? If you don't know how to fix a car, you wouldn't attempt to fix a motor. Same thing with your credit.
Also, I think it takes time. I think I talked to a couple people who done credit restoration. They said they'll call the creditors and send letters and send letters again and send letters again. And I will assume that takes some type of diligence, some type of system, somebody staying on top of it,
And the most common misnomer also is a lot of people think, I can do this myself, I'll just file a dispute. So one of the most, false really myths out there is a dispute actually doesn't fix your credit, because if you're disputing, let's say, a collection, that is yours and you have a legal obligation to pay it, you're disputing the truth, right? So some of these companies will advertise $69.99 a month or $79.99 a month, and they write dispute letters for you, one letter at a time. But what actually happens is the dispute comes off your credit for 30 days while it's being investigated. And 99% of the time, it gets added back on once they've determined the account is yours, the social security number is yours, and you had a positive payment history on it prior. So that dispute now accepted. And we actually go in and remove disputes because that does drop your scores. Because if an account is disputed more than twice, it's considered frivolous.
Oh, wow. Okay. So
now, unless there's fraud, right? If you're a victim of identity fraud, which we work with a lot of people on, you actually don't dispute. We get a police report and we go through the Fair Credit Reporting Act and we do other things. But that's one of the common misnomers is people tell us all the time, I disputed my whole credit report. Well, you disputed your accounts in good standing and you disputed accounts that really are yours. So that's a very difficult model to see success with.
Okay. Now I have a question. I'm sure like many people, they probably now banks have these programs where they can actually be monitoring their credit, look at their credit score all the time. Is that a good thing or a bad thing, or
So pulling your credit, a lot of people say, oh, if I pull my credit too much in a month, it'll hurt my score. That's false.
Okay.
It actually doesn't increase or 5% of your score. Now, you really want to be careful about where you pull your credit from. So a lot of people say all the time, oh, I pulled it from Credit Karma. Credit Karma or creditrepair.com or something along those lines. They don't report all three bureaus and it doesn't report accurately. So one of the three credit bureaus actually no longer reports to Credit Karma because they found those reports to be false. So there are companies out there that are reliable. One is called Identity IQ. And you can pull a three bureau credit report for a limited charge. And it also comes with credit monitoring and identity theft protection. You want to look for something like that. Those are great options. Sometimes with the banks, it can be deceiving because they only give you one bureau at a time. And they might not be catching everything.
Oh, I guess like to see a score, I see my score go up. Around, then I'm like, okay, I gotta start.
Yes, it's almost like the stock market. You can't study it every day.
Stop spending money. I'm like, oh my gosh. Good thing I have business, so
Absolutely.
Money, like my money's coming in, so I'm good.
Yes, it's not something. Yeah, you don't want to watch it go up and down every day. It's more.
Yes. Well, guys, I know you probably have the number one question is probably how much does it cost to use a service? Guess what? If you want to know that, you have to contact her directly and find out for herself.
I can tell you, Josh, one thing. The consultation is 100% free of charge. So whether you sign on or you don't sign on, utilize us for information, really.
So again, go talk to her. Let her give a free consultation. And like you said, she said she will, before they do anything, they're going to find out if they can actually help you. So, you can't get no better than that, No. But again, if you want to reach out to her, her information is in the description box below. You go to our website, go to her social media pages, and inbox her and see if you can get an appointment with her to see if she can help you with your credit score. Because let me tell you, credit is important. And if you're ever going to get ahead in life financially, you may have to borrow money so you can make an investment, so you can get ahead. And what you don't want to do, you don't want to be paying more when you don't have to. And the only way to do that is make sure that your credit limit, your credit score, is at a certain point. And again, sometimes she said that if you can, sometimes like you can probably remove some things off your credit history that can boost your credit score a little bit more. So go talk to her. Let her help you figure things out so you can maximize your own credit. Well, Dana, I want to thank you
Thank you. Thank you so much. This was a great way to spend my Friday. I really appreciate you inviting me.
Well, I thank you for being our guest. I love having very informative guests that can really inform us about how things work. One of my benefits, one of my goals, like I meet a lot of great people. And again, like I said, my partner's group called The Tip, and I've had a relationship with a lot of like 97 people in there that have amazing businesses. I've been part of the group for about 15 years. I ain't going nowhere. Yeah, and one of the reasons I love it because the quality of services that's in the group, and they can actually help people. So I'm gonna bring more people on to let them share their wealth of information. And so they can so the same information I'm getting from them, you can get from them also. Well then, thank you once again. Thank you for being our guest, and I will see you again probably next week.
Yes. Thank you so much. I hope everyone has a great night.
All right, guys. See you later. See you next week. Hey, guess what? Next week, y'all log on. We're gonna be talking about Love is Blind season 3. It's gonna be our next show, so stay tuned. It's gonna be funny. Take care.
Thank you.